Have you ever been in a creative rut and couldn't really get out of it? I was in one from like November, December, the beginning of January. My family and I decided to take a trip to Cape Town, South Africa, our favorite place in the world, and that's where my wife and I met. And I'm gonna show you images that I took with the GFX 100RF through this video, and I hope you guys enjoy watching me come out of my creative rut. Don't get it twisted, this is not like an official review of the camera. I don't think we need another one of those because we have had hundreds of them. And overall, it's a great camera, and you know, it's the big brother to the X100 series. What can go wrong? Obviously, it's priced kind of heavy, but after using it for 2 months, I understand. I get it. And honestly, after becoming a dad, things start to shift quite a bit. I mean, look at this stuff. I'm just carrying this around now. And life gets tricky. And this is part of parenthood. So this video is going to be quite different than the things that I typically do, and honestly, I think this channel deserves different, and so do you. I'm just tired of all the boring shit that we have to deal with when it comes to camera reviews. I don't think it should be that way. 100RF seems like it's a lot of money. In my opinion, once you use one for an extended period of time, you'll learn that it's way different than shooting on the X100V. I used it for 2 months. I'm still using it, and I picked up the X100V today for the first time. Not even close, dude. Not even close. I would definitely try to use one of these things if you can. So whenever I first received this camera, I was very excited. I had rose-colored glasses on, which happens a lot, but I've had it for over 2 months now. And if it was something I would have purchased, I think I would know by now if this was going to be something that I actually regret buying. And if I had bought this, honestly, after using the X100V for the first time since we've been here, I don't think I would regret it at all. So after we went to Istanbul, Turkey, everything started to change. Started to develop feelings again for photography, slowly but surely. I still had a lot of work while we were there. all have the honeymoon phase when it comes to cameras. So whenever I feel super creative when I get a new camera, it may be because I'm finished with a lot of work where I don't have a lot on my plate, or you could really, really like the camera that you got. And once the honeymoon phase goes away, that's when you know it's the one. You know what I mean? That's been like the Z8 for me essentially, because I have not got rid of that camera and I freaking love it. Or the Fujifilm X100V, I still love that camera too. I use it for a lot of documentation. I've shot it at weddings, and the GFX 100RF would be one that I would keep if I could personally afford one. But at this moment in time, with a new baby and work is a little slow, I can't. So we finally left Istanbul, headed to Cape Town, our favorite place in the world, where we met, and things started to come together a lot more. As all of the work started to fade away, I started to photograph models and I started to photograph daily life with a gigantic sensored camera, which can bog down your computer. So you have to be pretty selective with what you're gonna photograph. I found myself becoming a lot more thoughtful with what I was taking. It almost felt like I was shooting an M camera due to the way you kind of slow down in each way. One, you're very cognizant of the files are gigantic. Two, the camera's not that fast. And three, you just really pose and think about the way you're shooting completely differently, because you know there's so much space that these files are gonna take up. And it does feel just a lot more deliberate in general, honestly, because it's just a different process. It's hard to explain unless you use one. And having the aspect ratio dial on this as well slowed me down a bit too, because I could sit there and play with that. And in my opinion, that's not a gimmick at all. I love the aspect ratio on these cameras because that's something that I used with the 50S all the time, and I really wish there was a way to get to them faster. And just having the dial itself with the numbers on there and everything is amazing. Absolutely amazing. That's probably one of my favorite parts of this camera. The f4 aperture and the 12,800 ISO restrictions, in my opinion, are a huge downer. They could have done a lot more with this camera. Give us a 2.8, give her higher ISO. I mean, the noise looks great on the medium format sensor, and you have denoise in Lightroom installed. Not that big of a deal. They didn't give us those things. That's what we wanted. Hopefully in the second version, they will give that. However, I will say, limitation breeds creativity, and having an f4 aperture with 12,800 ISO is a little tricky. During the day, this thing shines though. I absolutely love shooting it during the day. When you get down to night, it's hard to shoot with, but this is what this camera's for. It's not made to shoot in low light situations, obviously. I'm not sure if it's intentionally made for this, but in my opinion, it does make you think more about your composition, how you're using lighting, and how you're framing photos. I believe that I got more creative and started to slowly get out of my creative rut due to the fact that I was so limited that I could only think about this and not all the other bullshit that I was dealing with in my life. Typically, this is when I would tell you about my presets, but actually, I have decided to do something a little different this time. DxO Film Lab reached out to me to see if I wanted to try their DxO Film Pack 8, and I was absolutely blown away by it. Honestly, there's 150 film stocks within this, and there's just so much that you can do. You can actually edit everything like you just would in Lightroom or Capture One in their software. It's a plugin, which makes everything a lot easier. You just click edit in, and then you can go and pick your film stock. I've used Kodachrome 25 a lot. And there's Portra, there's everything's in there. So highly recommend it. It is great. I wouldn't batch edit with it, although you can. I would just pick the ones that you like the most, and it would make it more of a film-esque process, honestly. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot that this is not a subscription-based platform. You just pay for it once, and you don't have to pay for it again, unless you want to upgrade in the future whenever they come out with Film Pack 9. But I don't know what else they could really do with this thing, honestly. If you want to support the channel, there's a 15% discount code at the bottom. Make sure you go click on that. It is a really nice software. I mean, all my photos look great because of it. Thank you so much, DxO Film Lab, for helping make this video possible. I didn't realize how much I would love this camera, honestly. And there for a while, I had 4 videos that I've made so far about this camera. And every time I would do one, I would watch it back and realize that I missed something or something was wrong. And this video is the one that I'm gonna fall on, because it wasn't until the very end of our trip that I picked the X100V up and shot with it for the first time in almost 3 or 4 months. And then I realized that this camera is far superior to any X100 camera. And in my last videos that I made that I didn't post was talking about how you could just buy an X100 series camera because it's gonna be just as good as this, except far cheaper. And that is where I messed up on all of those other videos. I know what you're probably thinking, oh, this guy just traveled to South Africa. Of course he's gonna get out of a creative rut. But it wasn't at the beginning when I got out of the creative rut. I was already photographing people while I was here. The thing was that I was using my Nikon for a little bit of those photos, but I kept coming back to this, and I shot a lot of them, obviously, because I do have a review on this to do. And my reviews for cameras, I do not take lightly whatsoever, because this is something that's really important to me. And yeah, I just kept coming back to shoot with this because I love the 4:3 aspect ratio that you get just standard, and you can just put so much into that. And that's when I realized that this started to feel like something a little bit different that you may all know about. The Leica Q is probably my favorite camera of all time, don't get me wrong. But when I started shooting this, about a week or 2 into it, being here in Cape Town after Istanbul, I realized that this felt like an open gate Leica Q, stop down, because you could still get that 28mm focal length, except you would get a little bit more height. And that is where my mind started to completely shift and change into something so different. And I was seeing the world like I used to, like I was meant to, with a huge sensor, with resolution for days. And this became incredible. For me, really cool. So I love shooting the X100V at weddings, but I can never get pivotal moments because there is no card redundancy, and I need that at weddings. So I will shoot stuff that's just not super important. But this camera has 2 card slots, and as soon as I picked it up, I didn't even realize that until I opened it up and they're there. That is a professional camera, in my opinion. So I would be able to just shoot this during weddings if I really wanted to just utilize the 28mm, because that's all you would really need is a dual card slot camera. And then you can have the cropping in too, if that's something that you would be interested in, although you do lose one of the biggest parts about having a zoom lens, and that to me is the compression. All right, so let's go back to the creative rut. This is something that happens to a lot of photographers. And I really do feel bad whenever somebody gets into these situations, because it will just ruin you completely. And if you don't have a new camera to pull you out of, or really cool jobs coming up, it gets very, very complicated and you can become depressed. So I'll be very careful. I always like to either rent a camera or borrow a camera from somebody to try to get myself out of a funk. And usually they're kind of quirky cameras like this one, because they are so different than anything else out there. Another example would be the Sigma BF, one of the Leica M's, potentially a Q, because they are a lot different than other cameras as well, maybe even a film camera. But that's a photographer standpoint. If you're a writer, I would try doing e-ink tablets because they're so freaking cool. I actually have a few reviews on here as well. But it's a really hard time, and especially when it's winter time, it's cold and it's bleak and you don't have anything to do. Just getting out and shooting and just making yourself do those things is very helpful. And I'm here on the other side of the world photographing some of the most beautiful landscapes. That obviously helped me pull myself out. I know there's a big difference, but at least I'm pulling myself out. I force myself to do these things. And I think getting uncomfortable is a great way to help yourself relieve some of the stress that comes with burnout. So I'm not sure if that's you or if that has been you, but it is helpful. And if you have any more helpful tips, drop them below because people really deal with this a lot. So as I get out of this creative rut, finally, I feel back at home, even though we have to leave here now, unfortunately, because it is that time. It's been over 5 weeks. We've been actually gone from the house for what, 2 months? 2 months of traveling with the GFX 100RF. And honestly, my conclusion is if you have the money to spend on this over the X100 series, I would definitely recommend this. It's a completely different experience. Like I said, I picked up the X100V today for the first time in months, and I realized immediately that this is far, far superior to that dainty little baby camera that Sarah likes to use so much. How's your chicken? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. That was like 5 gigs. You're welcome.